Let's see here. We're going to do some live machining of some V-wall covers. Hold on a second. Shut that off real quick. All right, cool. All right, so I've already touched off my 1.5 millimeter plate. So let me go ahead and lift that up. Get that out of there. Okay. All right, cool. So next we've got to bring it up. We'll do some live machining here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know how strong my coolant mist or coolant is, but we'll figure that out. All right, cool. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing real quick. So right now I am going to G-code. I'm going to do the cover, the aluminum covers. Actually, let's go to half sheets, full sheets. Let's see here. 1.5 millimeter. Yep. Let's do the holes. So right now I have a 3 millimeter cutter or drill inside of my machine in my spindle. So what I'm going to do is drill a bunch of holes, and then we'll move on to the next operation. So here we go. We got the 3 millimeter cutter right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's see here. All right. Move my air blaster. And we are on G55. Let's go ahead and start it. There we go. Put it down. Throw some coolant on there. Hope you all had a good weekend. What's going on, guys? I am cutting out some minimalist wallet covers right now out of aluminum. Just drilling some holes for the screws. And next I will be countersinking them at 82 degrees. This shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, so just bear with me. I got a 3 millimeter drill in my collet, my spindle. Got some coolant on there so it doesn't get too hot. So I'm cutting into a 1.5 millimeter aluminum plate with a 3 millimeter drill, and I'm going about 15 inches per minute down into that hole. Hopefully my phone doesn't get wet from the coolant. I'll move it around a little bit. Feel a little spray from my coolant, but that's all right. Just some live machining right now. If you guys are interested, this is just live machining right here. So what people don't realize is CNC machining, it's faster in a lot of ways, but it's also slower based on like the setup and all that stuff. So you gotta do what you gotta do. I've got about 20 more holes. Thank you for that one person hanging on there watching some drilling. It's not super exciting when you see these little operations. It's not like super exciting, but when you get into CNC, you'll understand that these are necessary operations, and you're not going to see a pretty part at the end of it for a while. So you kind of have to, do the small stuff to get to the big stuff. And right now I'm just drilling the holes, but they're almost done. I have 5 or 6 of them left, so just hang on there. Right now I'm just cutting into some 1.5 millimeter aluminum plate. This is from a wallet that I sell. And I got two more holes and I'm done here. 2 more holes. All right, there's it. All right. All right, let me cut this off here. Reset it. All right, so now I'm going to change to a counter sink for my 348 holes here. I don't know if you guys can see, there's some holes inside of my plate there, right here. So now I got to do some countersink. I'm going to do an 82-degree countersink. And that means I've got to change out my cutter, which I'm going to send my spindle to the front. And you guys are going to see me change it out. So let me move this. Sorry, guys. Put this back on there. All right. So this is a year 20 collet, just if you guys care. This is a 118 or a 3 millimeter cutter that I was using. I just drilled some holes here. Next, I am going to go to, let me show you guys real quick. So that was operation 1. I just did a drill for those holes. Now I'm going to do a countersink, which is the 82 degrees. So if you see right here, it says 41 degrees. It's actually double that. It's 41 degrees. All right, let me put in my 82 real quick. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. So this is going to countersink the holes I just drilled, and you guys will see it live. So if you guys know me, the first thing I do is set my 0 on my tool. So let's go ahead and set our zeros. Let's bring it down. Bring it close, and I'm gonna drop that down to a little bit slower. Right there. And what I use is a 2/1000 inch shim. So if you guys, I don't know what you guys use, but I use a 2/1000 inch shim. I bring that between my material and my cutter. And I call that 0.002. That's G54. Let's go to G55. Call that G.002. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and bring that up. And we'll get cutting. All right, let's go ahead and start the next operation, which is operation 2. Here we go. Oh, pause that up. Pause it. I gotta put the coolant, unless I get a shower of coolant. I don't want that. Let's go ahead and put this right here. There it goes. That'll work. All right. Let's go ahead and resume. Throw some coolant on there. There it goes. All right. So I'm cutting an 82-degree counter sink into the holes that I just cut. Go ahead and check What's the stream about? Hey, what's up, Aeroflow? I'm cutting minimalist wallet covers. Thanks for commenting, Aeroflow. So right now it's just a regular aluminum plate. It's 1.5 millimeters thick. And I'm cutting some countersinks into it, 82 degrees. This is for the screw holes. It's for a flathead for a 348 screw. And these are the covers for my wallets. Basically, I just want to do a live machining so you guys see how it is when you live machine it. So sometimes people think, ooh, CNC, that's all glitz and glory and stuff like that. But honestly, there's some times where you just got to go through the operations and just wait. It just takes time. So, but if you guys want to see this at the end of it, go ahead and drop out for about 10 minutes, come back, and you will see the end of what I am doing. And that's kind of how it works with CNC. I've got about 30 more holes, so we will go ahead and cut those. But until then, go ahead and enjoy the countersinking. All right, 20 more holes. That's kind of how it is with CNC. Is there are some kind of boring operations. You just got to do it. Like I said, this is our counter sinking operations. It's a 82 degrees for a 348 screw. But just cutting into some aluminum right now. Can you guys see that? Not sure if you guys are seeing that. Probably are. So this is my MR1 CNC machine. It's a gantry style CNC machine. The next operation I will do is a chamfer on the edge of these wallets. And I have about 4 sets of them, so 8 pieces I've got to do. But right now I'm just doing countersinks. Just live machining here on a Saturday night. All right, looks like I've got about maybe 12 more holes. And I don't know why my coolant thing kind of took a nosedive. It's still getting coolant, but it's kind of missed what it's supposed to be. There it goes. Just doing some countersinks. I have about 6 more holes to do. 5 more holes, and then we are going to do some cutting. We're going to do actually some chamfering of these covers. So first thing I got to do after this finishes is change out my cutter, and then I am going to touch off my tool so it knows exactly where the top of my part is. Oh. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and send this to the front so I can change my tool. Hold on a second real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. So next what we're going to do is change this tool out to be a 45-degree chamfer cutter. So I use carbide as much as I can. I don't know what you guys use, carbide or cobalt or high-speed steel. but I use carbide typically. Here we go. Okay, here it is. Let me throw this in the spindle. So let me tighten that up, and we will get touching it off. Okay. All right. I'm gonna blow off a little dry or a little flat area, so I don't have to compete with the coolant. All right, here we go. All right, we're gonna touch off our 45-degree cutter. Bring it down. Okay, a little bit. All right. So I use, like I said, I use a 2000th inch, 2000th of an inch touch off. What's this called? A shim. So that's 2000ths of an inch. And in my G54, G55, I'm going to call it 0.002. Enter. Let's bring this up. Hold on a second. Bring it up. All right. So now I'm going to do a chamfer, which is a little more exciting than the drills. I just got to be honest with you. So let me, oh shoot. Just made a slight detect. Okay. Something happened on my phone. So let me go ahead and recenter this here, guys, so you can see it. So I have touched off my chamfer cutter, which is a 45 degrees, and I am going to set my coolant sprayer where it should be, right there. And hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, there it goes. All right. So this is going to be a chamfer cutter. final operation. I'm going to show you guys kind of a picture of what I just did here. So these. What's going on, Marco? How you doing, brother? All right, so let me go ahead and put this phone back on a tripod so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna blow off that cut I just did. I'll shrink it down, you guys can see. All right, so again, these are just minimalist wallet covers. Got some chamfers right here. So, all right, I got one more cut left, and I am going to get that started. Is the contour of these parts, but I need to change the cutter, so I'm going to send this spindle to the front. Get this up here. Alright, so now I gotta put an 1/8 inch cutter in there. And this guy goes right here. Alright. This was a 45-degree chamfer cutter. Now I'm going to use an 1/8 inch cutter. There we go. This is an ER20 collet. Just putting in an 1/8 inch 2-flute carbide. Just a basic flat end mill. Throwing in my spindle. It's an ER20 collet. And the rule of thumb is you want to bring it out as little as possible, just so you have less chatter. Just letting you guys know that. Let me clean this up. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and drop that down to the top on material. so I can touch off my tool. So I'm going to show you how to touch it off real quick. There we go. Okay, bring it down. All right, let me bring down the smaller steps. And I use a 2/1000 inch shim here. All right, just kind of move it around. Kind of drop it down slowly, about a half a thou each. There it goes. That's stuck there. Let me put that Z value at 2,000 something inch. I don't know where you guys are from. I'm from the United States. I use inches. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and whoa. Go ahead and bring it up. And we are going to do the final cut. The coolant in the right place so I don't get a coolant bath. There it is, and that's close enough. Okay, cool. Let me load the right program. Outside, boom. Okay, let's start it up. Here we go. All right, so I took out these screws here, 1024s. Let me collect them real quick. Hold on a second. All right. Come on. All right, cool. So this is the final product for what I'm doing now. And those are going to fit on top of my wallets. So it actually turned out pretty good. These are 348 flat head screw holes here with the 82-degree chamfer. But now I got these 4 sets done. On that side of it, I got to do 4 more sets, and I've got another plate where I've got to do 4 and 4, another 8 sets. So I'll have 16 sets by the time it's done. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe and continue to watch. And I will continue to make stuff with my MR1 and whatever I can. I do CNC machining and I do plastic injection molding too. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thank you.